pokemasterjtv here, with another deck tech video. Today we will be playing White Green Counters deck. So the main card is the Ozolith. So whenever a creature I control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith, and then at the beginning of combat on my turn, if the Ozolith had counters on it, you can remove all counters from it and put it on a creature. We have Sun Spinner, it's a combat trick, put a reach counter on it so I can block flyers. Light of Hope can put counters or destroy enchantments, which is usually what I use it for. 2 copies of each of those. We've got 2 Battery Solidarities, put some counters on my stuff. We got a single Gnarly Colony. That's all I had in my collection. Inscription of Abundance can put counters on things. Can let me gain life with where the greatest power among creatures I control, and it can also fight. Next is Nesting Hornbeetle. It gets counters as long as I control a creature with power 4 grid, which is most of the time. 2 of those. We've got 3 Conclave Mentors. If you're looking to upgrade the deck, I definitely suggest a 4th. But all I had in my collection was 3. If one or more 1/1 counters would be put on a creature I control, that means plus 1 1/1 counters are put on that creature instead. And then when it also dies, I gain life equal to its power, which can help against the aggressive decks. We've got 2 Banishing Lights for some removal. We've got Splendor Mare, which if I need to can be a body, or what I usually do with it is you can cycle it and put a lifelink counter on a creature. So it then goes onto the Ozolith, so you can put it on something else and you get to draw a card. 2 Horn Bashmenters. It puts a trample counter on a non-human creature I control, which is everything but the Horn Bashmenter. The only human I can have in the deck. You can also pay 3 and tap to put a 1/1 counter on each creature I control with trample, which is usually only that creature, unless you have the Gnarly Colony, give things trample, and the Territorial Sightcats also have trample, and they have whenever a 1/1. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under my control, it gets a 1/1 counter. 3 of Territorial Sightcats, 2 of the Horn Bashmenters. Again, this deck is all just cards I had in my collection. I have Ozoliths before because they're just so good you can put them in so many decks. I picked up 4 copies of those. We also have 1 Oran Reef Ooze. When it enters the battlefield, it puts a counter on a creature I control, and when it attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each attack creature with a 1/1 counter on it. This is definitely a card you put 4 of if you were to upgrade. It's just really good. You got 1 Badger's Lieutenant. When it enters the battlefield, it puts a counter on a creature, and when it or another creature I control dies, if it had a counter on it, put 2 or a 1/1 counter on it, create a 2/2 Knight with Vigilance. One of those. Basher's Acolyte has lifelink and puts 2 counters on, or puts 1 counter on 2 different creatures. Luminous Broodmoth, you could definitely put more of in here. When a creature I control with flying dies or returns to the battlefield under my control with a flying counter on it, so this can help get flying counters on my creatures, which I can keep coming back. And it lets me get my stuff back when they die. And you don't even lose the counters if you have an Ozolith out. You can put them right back on. Struggle for Scumfire. It puts a counter on things, which is helpful, and it is a fight spell with also a foretell ability. Renetta, Call to the Hunt. Its powers equal my devotion to green, and each other creature I control enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. So all my stuff then enters the battlefield with at least one counter on it. There's an Iron Scale Hydra. If a creature would do combat damage to it, add that damage and put a 1/1 counter on Iron Scale Hydra, and it's a 5/5. You can definitely put more of these in the deck. It is a very big beater that can never die, unless they have removal. We have one Great Henge. You would definitely 100%, if you had Mythic Wild cards, I would add a few more, at least one Great Henge, one more Great Henge, as it is very powerful in the deck. It costs X less to cast, where X is the greatest power of a creature I control. So you're probably casting this for only 3 or 4, not 9. And you can tap it for 2 green, and I gain 2 life. The tapping for 2 green doesn't usually mean much, but gaining some life can be good. And whenever non-token creature I control enters the battlefield under my control, put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. This can let you chain in a whole bunch of creatures, and they all enter the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on them. Maybe 2 1/1 counters, maybe even 3 1/1 counters, if you have some Conclave Mentors out. We've got 10 plains, 11 forests, 1 branch loft pathway, and boulder loft pathway, and a temple of plenty, Western Sky, and a fabled passage. So that's the deck. Let's get into a match. We'll be playing standard, ranked, with my white to green counter deck. Our first match is underway. Let's see who we'll be playing against. We'll be playing against Fail. This is not a great hand. Starting with 4 lands is not what we want. We definitely only want 3. And we didn't have any Ozoliths, so I think we can keep this one, I guess. We just need to draw... No, we can't keep. There's no creatures in this one. Okay, this one we'll keep. We'll throw away a Plains and the Azri's Acolyte. Just because the Splendid Mare can replace itself. Play Forest and Conclave Mentor. Getting 2 of these is really good. Then every 1 counter is equal to 3 now. So he's going to Fortelli card there. I can lay up Plains, and then I'll play the Hornbash Mentor. Put in a trample counter on my Conclave Mentor and attacking. This deck was built around the Ozolith, but you don't need it in your hand. It still works fine without it. We'll now cycle the Splendid Mare here. Throw the counter on the Conclave Mentor with Trample, and attack in for 5, gaining 2 life. Let's see what's gonna put. Quakebringer. That's a very good card. We'll cycle the Splendid Mare here. We'll put a lifelink counter on the Conclave Mentor, and then we go into this. We're gonna not attack. We're gonna wait at least 1 turn here before we. As the Quakebringer also, even once we kill it, it still good and it's in the graveyard. We do have a bit of life gain though once it dies, but because we can't gain life while it's on the battlefield, so we do need to kill that and that too. Okay, we have an Oz left. We'll tap the mentor here, putting some counters on things, so we can now attack in with both of these as they will trade. Let's see what he does here. And the counters will all go back to the Ocelot, so then next turn I can put them all on, say, the Conclave Mentor and attack. There's 3 counters here, plus a trample and lifelink, which we can then put on the Conclave Mentor here and attack in. That'll be 10, at least 10 damage. No, he's going to tap down the Conclave Mentor, so I guess I'll just be putting it on the Territorial Scythe Cat, I guess. He's going to attack in, which is really weird. I don't know why he would do that. We'll play Struggle for Scumfar. On the Territorial Scythe Cat, that'll fight the Bergstrider. He's gonna counter that. We'll go to combat, throw the counters from the Ocelot onto the Scythe Cat, attack in. I guess I could have attacked with the Hornbash Mentor and then won. I didn't see that, but this should be game here, as long as he doesn't wipe the board, which very possibly could happen. I guess he still wouldn't really be able to kill the Scythe Cat with any red removal. We'll play the Forest here, and then tap the Hornbash Mentor to put some counters, and then attack in with the Scythe Cat, because he has to block with everything and will trade. All of his stuff will die. Just to make sure, we're gonna throw the Quakebringer in front. That still does 1 damage to him. He does gain a bit of life there, so he goes up to 4, but next turn I get an attack in. And the Ocelot will give all my counters unless he has some sort of artifact removal. He's going to grab a Saw It coming. You can play a land here. Go to combat, throw all my counters on the Conclave Mentor, and attack in with the Mentor here. And that is game. Yeah. Alright, rank up here, go up to Platinum Tier 3. I'm not that high rank because I usually fiddle around with these budget / decks with just my collection, so most of them aren't very good, and even the ones that do end up being good, a lot of the times aren't good at the start. We'll get into game 2 here. As always, if you like my videos, please subscribe, hitting that like button, and leaving some comments, suggestions, ideas in the comments below is appreciated. Doc Gill is our opponent. This is not a keepable hand. There's no early drops, so we will die against an aggro deck. This is okay. Yeah, we'll keep this here. We'll throw away an Ozolith. We don't need to. This second copy basically does nothing unless they have a removal spell, but artifact removal is pretty uncommon in most decks. Because usually you're just trying to get rid of creatures or enchantments. We'll play the Sightcatch here and attack in with the Horn Beetle. If we draw a land, we can play Badger's Solidarity or Badger's Acolyte. Okay, good. We drew a land. We can put the counter on my other two creatures using Badger's Acolyte. The Horn Beetle then gets a counter by a creature with power 4 or greater. Attack and deal 8 damage, and yeah, this is going very good here. If he doesn't play a creature or anything, we win. Okay, he does play a creature here. We will play a Plains and Battery Solidarity, putting a counter on my stuff, and attacking me with everything. He's gonna go down to 1 HP. Or 1 life. And yeah. I do take 5 damage from the Brash Taunter here. When it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to an opponent. Not too worrisome, but it's very good card if you build around it. It's very good blockers as long as this should be game here, especially with the Hornbash Mentor. I can give Trample to the Horn Beetle, and I will swing in here with everything, and that should be game here. Let's see, he might have something here. I don't think so, though. Okay, yeah. There you go. That's win game 2. This is how most of these games go. The only deck that I lose to is the aggro Death Touch deck, because I'm trying to build up creatures to be very powerful. As if I don't get any trample, then having a whole bunch of 1/1s that kill my stuff, or even if I don't have any turn 2 plays, they get that poison counter guy. Just kill me with poison counters. That is a very strong deck most of the time. But this deck is too, and it's a lot of uncommons and commons mostly. There is still the rares and mythics. Most of them, they were all just from my collection. It definitely could be upgraded, as a lot of the cards I only have 1 or 2 of. I maybe shouldn't have kept this. I forgot that I didn't have any green land. Another way to upgrade this is to get the more pathways, as it is essential to have the colors on turn 2, so you can play a Conclave Mentor or Gnarly Colony or something like that. But turn 1 here I can play the Ozolith, and as long as I draw a green land here, I should be good. Light of Hope can put a counter on something, and or destroy an enchantment. Which there is some very good early enchantments, and Light of Hope is just a very good card from Ikoria. It's very good in Standard, I find. It's not a very used card. I think a lot of people underrate it. Being able to destroy an enchantment for 1 is very good. Plus, you can gain life, so in a life gain deck it's good. And putting a counter on something can be good in almost any deck, especially in a counter deck. No, for only 1 mana, it's hard to go wrong. There's just so much diversity. We'll play the Gnarlid Colony. Not kicked, of course. And then my turn here. If he plays something, we can use the Light of Hope. If he has like another Bone Crusher Giant to kick my thing. He doesn't have permanence, so yeah. We can put the counter on my Gnarly Colony so it won't die. That Light of Hope's also good as kind of a combat trick with the counter, as it is an instant, or gaining life in the life gain decks can be used as a combat trick. He's going to negate that. Okay. Let's see. I guess we just play the Hornbash Mentor, maybe. We can throw some counters on it. Or maybe we wait a turn. I think I wait a turn here. And see what I draw next turn. If I draw a land, I'll play the Hornbash Mentor. If not... Okay. I did get Renetta, but I don't have the land to play it, so I think I pass here. It's also hard to play against these control-y decks because they kill all my stuff before I can put counters on them. Like dealing some damage. A lot of my stuff doesn't have very much toughness when it's first played. Or the big stuff they end up countering. Okay, I grab the forest so I can play Renetta. Fall to the hunt. We will not be blocking Bone Crusher Giant if they attack with it. Next turn we can play the Hornbash Mentor. Put a trample counter on Renetta. Never mind, Renetta is dead. By a frostbite. Sucks. I draw 8 planes here. And play the Hornbash Mentor. We can block the Bone Crusher Giant with it. And I'll end my turn here. Seems my opponent has something he can play. Let's see what he does. He's gonna frostbite. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's gonna be game here. Especially with that gold fan dragon. I'm going to concede here. And that is my white green counters deck. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting that like button, leaving a comment in the comment description below. I upload every Wednesday, and if I have the time, on a lot of Saturdays too, depending on how the week goes. Goodbye for now.